What's up, creeps? Exorcist here, and you are tuned in to another edition of Scurred. All right, this one is really a mixed review. I'm going to tell you right now at the beginning, which I typically don't do, this movie is going to be rated very low. The good news is the plot itself should give this thing like 10 points. This is some of the coolest stuff that I've ever jumped into. And I'm going to get further into that, so stick with me. But telling you ahead, this movie does not go well. Something that could have been marvelous sucked. So let's get right into it. What am I talking about? Lullaby, okay? Anytime you involve, again, babies, little kids, yada, 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 or something that comes for you in the night, the boogeyman, La Llorona, all of these different things are creepy as heck, okay? This one I've actually never heard of, and it's an old Jewish kind of tradition, and this is just, it's such a brilliant plot. I wish the movie didn't suck. Lullaby, that's where we're at. So let me start with a couple of things, okay? First off, in the first 60 seconds of this movie, they absolutely ruined it. There's this little ridiculous baby thing that's running around and creatures and yada, 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 yada. I mean, the first 60 seconds just set the whole tone, okay? They should have probably started there. Though I would have probably been more upset if it would have happened only at the end, because you know how I feel about ridiculous little special effects and things that come out. I don't like it. But the first 60 seconds, I mean, we're not even through the credits. And I thought, this movie is absolutely trash. So that wasn't good. What kept me going is the cast right out of the gate. So let's start with the Scurred scale. For cast, I gave them a number 1. So first and foremost, Ona Chaplin is in this. And now Chaplin might be a familiar name for you. If you go back to Charlie Chaplin. Yes, this is the granddaughter of Charlie Chaplin. So I thought to myself, okay, I know this name. I know this girl. She's been in some stuff that I really like. She was Talisa Stark in Game of Thrones, okay? So I'm giving this movie a chance based on the gal that's in it right out of the gate. And if that's good or not, I don't know. But as I was watching, I'm thinking, man, she really is a great actress. Regardless of who she is or who her granddad was, she's really good. And given the setting of the movie, kudos to her, because she made it through a really crappy movie. And I still respect her for it. So 1 point for plot, or for cast, absolutely. Now the setting is just nothing. Who cares? Berkeley Castle apartment building. There was nothing special about it. They ended up jumping into, some kind of mirror realm and some kind of place where all the babies go. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's nasty. So I did not give them a point for setting because it was really underwhelming and nothing about the setting had anything to do really with the plot whatsoever. Maybe once you get into the baby realm, but we'll get into that. So let's talk plot. This is where things get important, and this is why I kept watching the movie, okay? One, it's my due diligence. I have to do it. I have to do it for me. I have to do it for you, and I have to do it for the review, okay? If I can spare you from watching some garbage, I might as well. And that's what we try to do here on the Scurred channel. We show you the good, we show you the bad, and we show you the ugly, which is Lullaby. Okay, so I'm just going to refer to my notes for a minute as we get into the plot, because this is where it gets interesting. And I thought it was so interesting that I actually took notes. Okay, well, you can't see those, but there's notes right there on the iPhone. Okay. All right, so here's what I thought was interesting. They find an old book. It belonged to her sister, and I'm looking at the book, and I'm looking at the way that things are written in the book, and I think to myself, this is Hebrew. All of a sudden they say, oh, yes, this is Hebrew, and everybody in this movie all of a sudden knows how to read and, talk Hebrew, yada, 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 yada. So they find it. They go, oh, yeah, that's cute. My sister's a nut, okay? We start to find out her sister Vivian is, woohoo. So that's it. what happens is they put the book away, they put the sister's box of stuff away. From there, they go about 6 months and they realize parenting is really freaking hard. So, kids out there, listen up. Make sure you're ready for parenting. Parenting is not a walk in the park. It's kind of like a horror movie that, the plot is really, really, really thick. So, practice good stuff and be safe out there. Parenting is no joke. Okay. Anyway, that said, after 6 months, they can't take it anymore. Rachel, the main character, decides, hey, look, I found this box. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to read the Hebrew notes that my husband left in the translations, and I'm going to sing the baby the lullaby. All of a sudden, she sings the lullaby, and the baby, after 6 months of absolute crying all the time, stops crying and takes a nap. She goes to sleep. It's pretty good, right? Everybody likes a sleeping baby. I sure do. The problem is, there's a curse that goes along with the said lullaby. Basically, what it does is brings out Lilith. Now, this is where I thought this was so brilliant, and it had the biggest chance to be a really cool movie, and they just blew it. They blew it bad. So Lilith, when you look at Hebrew mythology, is for Lilith Abai. Okay? Lilith Abai. What does that sound like? Lullaby. Yes, that's just it. So lullaby actually means Lilith be gone. Okay? So they're singing or saying this lullaby, and it's an old Hebrew thing that says, Lilith be gone, don't take my baby away. Now, Lilith is this terrible woman, and what they say is she was the first woman. She was before Eve, but then she did terrible things like Eve did, but, worse. She laid with the wolves and started making these horrible creature things, and then boom, she wants the horrible creature things to start taking baby. The fall of man happens, yada, 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 yada. Lilith is the first woman, not Eve, and she was worse than Eve by a lot. So now she wants all the babies, yada, yada, yada. So lullaby is just that. Lilith be gone. Lilith abai. And I really, really, really thought that was cool. I've never heard of this. Massive horror fan, yada, 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 yada. But sometimes these things slip by me. They go through the cracks. And somebody brings something forward like this, I think to myself, holy crap, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard. This is folklore. This is like traditional stuff. And you're going to ruin it with like Ally McBeal terror babies? It really had the chance to be something amazing. But overall, Lilith Be Gone, Lullaby, I fell so deep into it. I'm like Googling stuff while I'm watching it. The plot is absolutely fantastic. So point for plot. I do want to move forward, and we're going to do it. So let's get into effects, okay? Boo. If I could give negative points on the Scurred scale, I would. I cannot stand the stinking ugly little baby monsters in this thing. It ruins everything. Trust me. And if you watch it, if you dare watch it, you will see exactly what I mean. So no point for FX. Continuity, forget about it. She has a crazy sister who's part of the beginning. They don't know that she, is crazy, isn't crazy by the time this whole Lilith thing comes around. Turns out she's actually not crazy, but then she goes and does some terrible things to her sister and becomes crazy again. You hate her, and then, she saves the day, kind of, but not really, so you like her again, and then she ruins everything by the end again. And it's terrible. It's just terrible. It's jumping all over the place. There's nothing. The antagonist. Now, here's where I should have given them a point, but I couldn't give them a point because the real antagonist was not, in fact, Lilith. It was these little baby things and basically the sister and herself. And, who the hell was the antagonist in this after all? It really wasn't Lilith. I mean, it's supposed to be, but they didn't spend nearly enough time on this. They should have done a lot more with that. So no point for continuity. No point for antagonist because it wasn't really defined. Now we get to the ending, okay? And the ending was absolute bullcrap. Like the worst. I'm not going to spoil it for you in case you want to watch it, but I behoove you to not watch such a thing, okay? As far as the spooked, shaken, scurred category goes, it didn't get any of them. It wasn't any of those things. So we can wrap this one up. We can wrap this one up pretty quick. While I absolutely love the plot, I love the mythology behind it. I love the deep roots. I mean, we're talking thousands of year old roots that could have made this movie something really stellar. Outside of that, this was nothing. Just nothing. So let's count them on one hand. 1 point for cast, 1 point for plot. That's it. Got Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter and some really cool mythology. That's how you got going. A solid 2 for the movie Lullaby. So, I took notes, got to the ending, yada, yada, yada. But overall, you could save yourself some time by not watching this. At one point, I said, look, this stupid mutant baby looks like Gollum. And then all of a sudden, they said, listen, this thing is literally a golem. Like, yeah. So it gives you an idea of what you're dealing with. Imagine Lord of the Rings Gollum running around trying to steal babies. That's the movie Lullaby, this particular movie. So if you're into Lord of the Rings, Gollum stealing babies, knock yourself out. Go ahead. But don't say I didn't warn you. So that's it for this review. I can't take any more. Lullaby gets a real solid and lucky 2 on the Scurred scale. There's better things to watch, folks. Do it. So that's it for this one. I'm Exorcist, and as we always say, until next time, sleep tight.